about today's video from developer to business with topic how to correctly choose supported version for your app, and particularly with approach as the latest version -2. You check how to set the deployment version, how to inform your development team when it's need to be done, and what needs to be done after the new iOS version was released by Apple. So basically we have few topics that most impacted on your decision about the minimum supported version of your application, and mostly it's about the old versions supported. The more iOS version you supported, the more testing, the more bugs you have, the more old code you need to support, and the more limitation of new features you have, because iOS doesn't have backward compatibility. And if you want to include the new features of iOS, you need to maintain both versions of your code for the old version of iOS and for the new one. So it's possible what you have more bugs, and it will take more time for developers to develop new features or change something in your current application. The more time they spend, the more money you'll spend for your application. And about the revenue impact, if only 2% of users are on the version, supporting them might not justify the effort. And about the major part, it's security from Apple side, because Apple support only the current +2 old versions with the security patches. So Apple doesn't guarantee the security of your data, what you are using for application, and you need to take into account this part as well. So let's check the market data, and as example we'll take iOS version 18, because we have already 1 year data about this version, and we may check how this data is changing during the last year. And as we may check, the iOS version 18, it was announced on 10 of June 2024, and the first public release was in September 16 in the same year. So it's two major milestones for iOS version 18 and how the usage of this version is changing during this time. So the first one is 10 of June, and as you can see, only 1% is using this iOS version, because starting from this date, this iOS version was used by developers who has better access to new iOS versions. And as you can see, it's not growing rapidly until the next point is 16 of September, when it's but released for all users. It's 17.7% already using version 18, and 74% using version 17, and almost 7% is still using version 16. So these three versions, 16, 17 and 18, basically take the major part, roughly 98%. And as you can see, the previous version 15 is just less than 1.5%. So we have just few months from September till November when this usage of newest version is smaller than previous one. And in the beginning of December, more people is just migrating from version 17 to 19, the latest one. So as you can see, if you continue to support version 15, then the amount of people who is using this version is very, very low. And as you know, Apple doesn't support the security patches for this version anymore. So if you are not supporting version 15, you are not losing a lot of people who is not migrating from the old version to a new one. Sometimes it depends of your application and the features what you want to using. You might drop the version 16 as well, because it's roughly 5% of the users. So if you just support version 17 and 18, it will be around 95% of the market. And for current situation of the market, it's roughly we are somewhere in this stage when the new version 26 is announced, and you can just check with your development team what was changed, how it's affect your application and project, what must be changed for the newest changes from iOS. And at least you have some few months till the middle of September, when it will be fully available for downloading and migrating for all users. So for you currently, you don't need to rush something, you just need to create a few tasks for your development team, and you have few months to prepare your project for the new version release. And for the next step, so you need to create 2 tasks for your development team. One to check in a beta version what needs to be done from your side about your project, because sometimes some of APIs and the code is redundant for the new features, and during the summertime till September, your development team will prepare your project for migration. And the second task is just do the minimum iOS version update when everything will be done and you will migrate your application from the old version to the new one. So as you can see, the minimum supported iOS version for your application is more dependent on your business need rather than the technical part. I will add links to this statistic and you can check it by yourself. And if you find this video useful, just like and subscribe to my channel.